Let's start with the wires, because those 36 coach Teflon coated wires are not super easy to handle. Mainly how to dismantle them to remove the insulation. Long time ago I did it. I use a loop. First of all, I use a loop for everything in this small stuff. Of course I use a loop. I even do have several loops. I used with the loop scalpel blade, of course, a new one, but yeah, that's not super nice. And then I had this super nice wire stripper from Engineer PA14. The problem is it's only up to 34 coach wire, not to 36 coach wire. However, if you have it, it mostly works with a little bit of wiggling, but I found the black wires are easiest to dismantle. The red wires, for example, are more difficult. However, that's a super nice tool, but not perfect, because recently, not long ago, I found this tool. This super cheap $5 including shipping tool on AliExpress. I guess 50 or 100 dealers sell this fiber optic stripper CFS 3. If you search for fiber optic stripper, you will get a ton of results, and the cheapest ones, like this one, are around $5 including shipment. And I checked the diameter these fiber optic strippers can cut in the smallest diameter, of course, and it's perfect for the 36 coach Teflon coated wires, the smallest one here. So check this out, how easy this is. So normally you have the wire, make a clean cut, check if it's clean here, and then super easy, $5, highly recommended. You can strip it much longer than you need and cut the rest after soldering the wire to the LEDs. And don't forget, after stripping, twist it and then always pre-tin it. That's super important. So then take your soldering iron, put it to the wire and pre-tin it. That's really super important. Will make life much easier. So that's all I have to say about the wires. I love those tiny wires, but I don't use them mostly for the whole length, because they are not super sturdy. So in super tiny models it's okay, but as you saw already here, I used the Teflon coated wire for the first part, and then I use, because there's a ton of room, that's a big advantage of this trailer, you have so much room, 30 coach silicone coated wire. Wire done. And now let's talk about the LEDs, the SMD LEDs. Those are tiny, but there are much smaller types. And check the color of the packing. That's super important. If the LED is out, you will not be able to see which color it is without testing it. So we have in the set of the Orlandoos, we have the yellow ones, the orange ones, and the red ones, and those were the white ones. And check it before, and as I did already show you before, I used different colored wires for plus in all types, so that I know in my already soldered LEDs which one do have which color. Plus and minus, anode, cathode, they are tiny, 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 but they are labeled, so you will be able to see plus and minus. In LEDs, in normal 5, 3, 4 millimeter LEDs, like those ones, 1.8 millimeter, always the longer leg is plus and the shorter leg is minus. In the SMD LEDs, there are several different ways to show this. in all SMD LEDs I bought so far, and those are quite a lot, I only found two ways. One with a triangle in green, and the other type like the SMD LEDs from Orlandoo with a horizontal and a vertical line. And on all those LEDs, the vertical line is the side of the plus, the red, the anode, and the point of the triangle or the horizontal line is the side of the minus. And what if I lost the LEDs, find them, and I don't know which color it is? That's not so easy in SMD LEDs. In normal LEDs like those 4mm LEDs, I highly recommend to buy such an LED tester. That's only about $3, $4, $5, and you can simply put them in, check and see what color it is. But the SMD LED, of course, you cannot test it that way. Of course, those multi-testers also work for LEDs, multifunction testers, but also not for SMD LEDs. So how can I test the SMD LED? If you have such a SMD tweezer forceps, you can connect it to your lab power supply and then adjust the voltage for red. Always try to start with red, 2 volts, and then do it that way. And if it doesn't light up with 2 volts, go to 3 volts, and then white and blue will light up. And if it doesn't work, then it's broken. But that's the more complicated way. The easier way, if you have this $3, $4, $5 LED tester, take a pin header. Every one of you has this. Normally it's black. That's the counterpart of normal servo wires or servo plugs, the black ones. Put the pin header here inside and then place the LED on your finger. Do this with a loop normally, and it will be much easier than in front of the camera. Here is one. I did already lose one. Oh, here's the second one. And then place the LED that way, but of course in correct polarity, what I did not do. Come on. Okay, now it should be in correct polarity. Oh, that's orange, that's not white. Wow. Ah, because those were orange LEDs and not white ones. I can see the closure here. So that way you can test those and most SMD LEDs quite easy, quite nicely. But the easiest way to test SMD LEDs is a tool like this DT71. That's really awesome. You have to simply touch the LED, of course, in correct polarity, red, and the LED will lit up. Super cool, highly recommended. If you do a lot of work with SMD LEDs, this pays off too. But how to solder those super small parts? SMD means surface mounted device, so they are normally not meant to be soldered to wires, but to boards, and then it's much easier. But let's talk a little bit about soldering and soldering equipment.